Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about how we can zhuzh up our bookshelves while keeping it fully functional. I recently made a video where I reset my husband and I's bookshelves because we actually treated ourselves to new ones. We bought the IKEA Billy bookshelves. I originally was gonna put some of these tips in that video, but I decided to separate it just to make it easily accessible and you don't have to like scroll through all of the other stuff just to get the tips. I feel like we really deserve a space where we can just sit and relax and get lost in the stories that we love so much. And I'm hoping that these tips will help you with just that. So grab some tea, grab some coffee, just some water, whatever. Get cozy and let's get started. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, which is budget. I will always scream about budget first because especially in this economy right now and everything that's going on, you want to make sure that you're staying well within your means and still being able to enjoy the things that you want to enjoy. We don't want it to be based off of like fear and anxiety. We just want to make sure that we're being responsible with the resources that we have. So first things first, just figure out what your budget is. Of course, it's gonna differ from person to person. We all have different things in our lives that are going on. My budget as a married woman with no kids will definitely be different than someone that has 5 kids or what have you. It just all depends on you. So figure out what's best for you. I have several videos showcasing the last bookshelves that we had. It was $25 each. We had 3 of them. That's all we could really afford at the time. I honestly can't really complain because they lasted us 4 years. So I feel like that's a pretty good amount for what we got out of it. All of that to say, don't think you have to have the most elaborate or expensive bookshelf or furniture. There's a lot of budget-friendly options like Facebook Marketplace. You can go to your local thrift shop. I personally love Savers, which is a thrift store just like, Salvation Army or Goodwill. But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of local ones too. And for your budget, you might want to throw in a little bit extra to buy a new book or two because I swear you're going to want to after you decorate. One of my favorite things to do whenever I'm about to decorate a space is to look for inspiration, and thank God for the internet. At least in this case. There's different social media outlets that you can look for photos on. A lot of people get inspiration from TikTok. There's Instagram, you got bluesky, you got all these different social media outlets. Use them to your advantage. Personally, I love Pinterest and YouTube. Those are my 2 main ways that I will look up photos for anything that I need. If I want a new outfit and I'm trying to create one with a piece in my closet, then I'll look it up. My next project is trying to figure out how to better decorate my kitchen instead of it looking so like cluttered and all over the place. I looked up stuff on Pinterest. I love Pinterest. You can just look up so many things. Don't hesitate to look up stuff. If you want to raw dog it and just start decorating without looking at anything, that's fine too. But personally, I feel like it really helps me gauge what I want to do instead of just kind of standing there and trying to figure it out myself. When you're looking up inspiration photos, one thing that I would really suggest is to look at the photos and study it and really figure out what you like about that photo. Because yes, you usually like the photo as a whole, but there are specific things in the photo that you really like and can use in your own space. Chances are you can't recreate the photo one for one, but I wouldn't even recommend that anyway because you want to make sure that your bookshelves kind of represent you and what you like. I did find a couple of examples and I kind of wanted to show you what I do. I don't necessarily write this down, but for the sake of the video, I wanted to write it down so I know what I'm freaking talking about. So I found this photo on Pinterest. All credit goes to this user. I'll show their username on screen and I'll link it in the description box below. Obviously, y'all know that I love manga, I love anime, and so already this bookshelf caught my eye. I like how even the books, like the manga, are all the same height on each shelf. They even lay some of their books on its side, which I really like a lot because it starts to add levels and it kind of breaks up the monotony of all the books just being lined up in a single row. And a little thing that they do too is they'll have certain figures on the same shelf as the manga. So like on the Attack on Titan bookshelf, they have figures of the characters that are actually in that manga. I thought that was really cool. Another thing that I really like, if you take a look at some of the shelves, they have a circle light on the top of the shelf. They don't have it on in the photo, but I can only imagine how cool it looks when they do turn it on and it's like spotlighting some of the manga or the figures. I really like that. I like that a lot. So that's one thing that I like to do. Like I said, I don't usually write down what I like about each photo. I just kind of take note, or I'll save it and pin it so that I can refer to it later on when I'm actually decorating and take some of those ideas, you know? Ultimately, looking up inspiration is just to help you and kind of get your creative juices flowing. Now, even though decorating and making your shelves look nice and making a space look aesthetic is very fun and rewarding to do, we want to make sure that we keep the main thing the main thing. The functionality of your space, of your bookshelves, is the most important thing. So just make sure that you have space for your books, your figures, whatever else you want to showcase, and don't just focus on the look of it. I think it would just be very unfortunate to have all these books, these amazing books. You know, you get done decorating, but then there's a pile of books on your floor with no home for it. You just have it like sprawled out on the floor or something. So just try to strive for a balance of functionality and style. So when it comes to actually decorating, there are so many things that you can do to decorate your space, and it doesn't have to cost a freaking arm and a leg in order to do so. There's a lot of tips out there that will help you save money, and I highly suggest taking advantage of those tips. And I wanted to share some here of some of the things that I do. You need to play around with levels. You don't have to have them sitting all upright. You can also lie them down on their side. You can push your books all the way to the back of the board, or you can scooch them up more up front so that you can put other figures and stuff behind it. Try to play around with different levels, because if you have like different varying heights, it just makes a space more interesting. Okay, so this is kind of weird because I just said play around with levels, but I like the actual books to be all the same height, because to me it just looks cleaner and not as cluttered as if it was varying heights for the actual manga. But I'll put different figures and whatever to add that height. When I first did this like whole bookshelf thing, I saw something on Pinterest where someone would make different levels on a single shelf. It was like an actual small shelf that they bought off of Amazon or some website, and I was like, oh my god, that's so freaking cool. Like, why don't I do that? I went on Amazon to look if they had those risers, and dude, they were so freaking expensive, like just for a riser so that it elevates the back row of your books. To me, honestly, that's kind of a waste of money, because you have all these boxes at your disposal. If you have figures, pops, or if you order shit online to get delivered to your house, then you have boxes that you can use as a riser. And the good thing about that, the first row of the books will always hide the boxes in the back anyway, so it doesn't matter if it's like mismatched or if it's just a regular brown cardboard box that you put in the back. No one's gonna see it. We have a lot of Funko Pops and different figures, so I took advantage of the boxes, put them behind the manga, and then just put the Funko Pops on there. Great. It looks great. It looks great, and that's totally something that you can do. One of my favorite things I did this time around was go to Savers. I thrifted 3 photo frames ranging from $3.99 to $9.99. That was the most expensive one, and I used them to showcase 3 posters that I had hanging up on my previous bookshelves. On my last bookshelves, it was so freaking janky. Like, I used tape just to post the poster up on the back of the bookshelf. The edges were falling off and it just looked so like tacky, and like it just wasn't it. It wasn't it. I wanted to find picture frames so that it can actually lay on the shelf and it just looks so much cleaner and nicer, and the frames just helped it look so much more refined, and they were so freaking cheap. Like, if you were to buy these frames from another store, it would be so expensive. Meanwhile, you have these great frames at Savers for less than $10. Most of the time they're even less than $5, and they look so much nicer anyway. So what I did with the frames was have them leaning on the back of the bookshelves, and I kind of started to decorate in front of it, you know, put some figures in front of it. I put some manga in front of it because you can still see the poster from the back anyway, and it looks really good. So don't be afraid to layer your stuff. I just feel like it makes it look so much nicer and decorated. Just because bookshelves are bookshelves, if you already placed all of your books on the bookshelf and you still have space on there, you can use other things to decorate. If you like video games, you buy a lot of physical ones, you can set it up on there in a way that is a lot more aesthetic and nice and shows off those video games. If you collect a bunch of keyboards, you can put it on there. If you like dolls or plushies, you can put them on there. What is the big thing now? Labubu's or something like that, which, by the way, apparently they're gonna have One Piece Labubus, and I really want the One Piece ones. They're so cute. But you can even put those up there. The sky is the limit. Of course, books first, okay, books first, but you can showcase other things that you love on there too, especially if you have a ton of space on there. There's so many things that you can do with your bookshelves. Different frames, different figures, different vases. You can put lamps on there. You can put fake plants. Just get creative. One of the most important things that I have learned throughout the whole process of this is to let whatever space you create reflect you. I think I just used to be so ashamed of what I was into because of my age. Who gives a fuck? I like manga, I like video games, I like anime. I don't want to change that. I don't know what to say. I think people kind of look at these stories and they kind of write it off as, oh, it's just kiddish, it's so childish. But some of my favorite manga, some of my favorite anime are so deep. It's just on another level. Like the stories and the lessons that they teach you is just so hard-hitting. Who cannot like it? Cute Dandadan story where they're trying to help a guy get his penis and balls back. What a deep story full of life lessons. All of that to say is, don't let anybody fucking flame you for it. Well, okay. Hold on. You cannot control if people flame you for things, but don't let them stop you from fucking liking it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope that these tips, one, help you save money, and two, help you zhuzh up your space in a way that you are genuinely happy with. These are the books that we love and we adore and take us on some of the greatest adventures, so of course we want it to have a home that is amazing and stylish. If you're planning to stick around the channel and you haven't seen it yet, make sure you watch my latest video of our bookshelf reset. It was just like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm honestly very happy with this one. Out of the 5-6 times that I reset our bookshelves, this is probably my favorite. I hope you had a great day. I hope you've been having a great week. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!